Hi, everyone. I want to welcome you to our release for Trimble Business Center and Trimble Access 2025.2. My name is Devin Kobas, and I am joined with Ben Messer and Luke Johnson, Trimble Business Center and Trimble Access product managers, respectively. And let's kick it off. Great. For this release, it's a combined release of both softwares. So we've kind of broken it up into different section headings, and you're going to hear from both TBC and TA on relative or relevant topics for those headings. So I'll kick it off with a quick introduction, and then we'll move on to the drive for consistent project data management, enhanced GIS and cadastral workflows, reality capture processing and automation, and then finalize with the enhanced mining workflows. We'll not be doing a Q&A. I guess if there's anything that comes up, please send your questions to Ben or Luke directly. So Thomas Edison said, there's a better way to do it, find it. I think this is pretty much the root of what we do as far as software development. We're always trying to keep our customers in mind. And the way we're trying to do that, especially with this release, is through connected workflows, automating manual processes to improve efficiencies, and then specialized workflow improvements that can happen through Access and TBC for something like mine. So the first section, we have the drive for consistent project data management. So what does that mean to us? Thinking about those themes about finding a better way and doing things better. Disconnected workflows, definitely they lead to a higher risk of errors, induces a lot more human error into it, inefficiencies in a project. And through TBC and Access and Trimble Connect, we're really looking at a way to improve how our customers do their daily work and how they actually manage the business as well.
Cool. So to dig into that a little bit deeper, on the Trimble Access side, what have we done in that area? So our new connected project data workflow makes it much easier to sync data back from the field or from the office to the field and back. So some of the changes we've done in this release let us set up the project in Trimble Connect, things like coordinate system, feature code library, and then send those to users in the field. Then any new jobs you create in that project will default to those project settings. We've also allowed users to push files directly to the team. So you could mark a control file, for example, as a project file, and that's going to automatically appear on the controller of any users in that project. It's not going to require the user to browse to the file and find it. So what does that look like in Trimble Connect, Trimble Business Center, and Trimble Access? Well, we'll start in Trimble Connect. If we go to the project details of a Trimble Connect project, we can actually set the coordinate reference system. So we can set that for the project in Connect, and we can also set the feature code library in Connect as well under the field data extension. We can also set the feature code library in TBC. We can't set the coordinate system just yet, but Ben promises me that it's coming soon. So you can do that setup in TBC in the connected workspace as well. Saving those project files. Well, if we want to export out a control file, like here we've got a control mark CSV, then when you use the remote save feature in TBC, rather than just saving the file into the Explorer, you can press the little arrow and save it as a project file. And that's going to tag the file, which means when the Trimble Access user signs into that project, that file will automatically get downloaded onto the controller and kept up to date. So in Trimble Access, if we open up our project screen, when we download a cloud project for the first time, we're going to automatically download those project files. So there's our control point file, spelled incorrectly, but coming down onto the controller. We then see an overview of the project properties. So you can see the coordinate system is what was set in Connect, and the feature libraries was that's the same feature library we set in Connect as well. So the key to our big changes in Access is really this new project data page. This is where you can manage all of your design files on your controller. It's a combination of the ones that come down automatically from Connect, but then there's also the ability there to either add them other files from Connect, add them from a USB stick, add them from a local drive or download folder on your controller. So this really simplifies file management in the field. You can also remove files from this list as well. So when you're done with file, you might be moving from zone 1 to zone 2. You can clear out that list and just have the relevant files you need ready, handy, easy to access. So that's the project data side. Now when we come to creating a job, you can see there's a create from field, and that's now populated with project settings. So that's going to default those newly created jobs to the coordinate system and feature library and units that was set in the cloud. You can still go back and create from a template if you like, but if the project settings have been set in Connect, then every time you create a job, it's going to default to those project settings. You can also change these individually for each job if you do find there's something that needs to be modified. Then in Trimble Access, our tab headings here have changed to match that new terminology we're using. So we've got project data, which is very similar to before to our map files, but we've also brought in all of the CSV files and the text files that used to be in the point files tab. So previously with CSVs, they'd be in the point files tab and they'd be mixed up with hundreds of jobs, and to find them, it was a long scroll up and down the list. That gets simplified now because it's all available in that project data page. And the old point files tab is now jobs, and that just has other jobs on the controller that you can link to that job. We've also made it easier to work with statusing. So now as soon as you start a survey or start a survey in a job, we're automatically going to change the progress from new to the status from new to in progress, or if it was complete, we're going to take it back to in progress. That really helps with the cloud upload, because as soon as a job changes status, we trigger an upload, we turn that job into a cloud job, and if you've got automatic uploads on, it's going to be kept up to date in the cloud. We've also introduced a new status called closed, and that can't be set in the field, can only be set in the office, but when it is set on jobs, the first time the user opens that project in Trimble Access, they're going to be asked or prompted to remove all of the closed jobs from their controller. So it gives the office team the ability to clean up the data collector, tidy it up, and make sure that we don't have years worth of data left on a data collector. You can always, if you need certain jobs as reference, you can always, when we get prompted to upload them, choose to keep them if you need to. So from there, we've talked about bringing our data into Trimble Access with all the right project settings, doing some work in Trimble Access and uploading it. In TBC, this has been around for a while, we can use that connected workspace to bring our jobs directly from the cloud into the TBC project. I think Ben's going to talk a little bit more about what else you can do with it.
All right, there's more that we can do with connected workspace. What we've expanded on now is the ability to share your TBC project with another user. Now, you can't be using the same project at the same time with the other user, but you can check out that project, do the work that you need to do, like process your UPS data. And then once you're through with that, you can then sync it back up to the cloud. As that syncs with one user, it'll sync with the other user. Once that's completed, that other user can then check that project out, do the work, and basically you're sharing that project and you're backing up your TBC project in Trimble Connect. Along with that, you still have the version control that you would expect with Connected. And then with that, there's definitely more scalability that can expand from that. But a couple of the other nice features is for some companies, it can reduce overhead for their IT because all that project data is being stored in the cloud. And again, it's a way to back up the TBC project that your users are going to be using. This is just an example of what the connected workspace is. This is slightly outdated by about 12 hours. We have models here. Models is now going to be named as workspace. And in that workspace, that's where your users will be able to see all the TBC projects that they can share with other users. They still have the ability to bring in the field data that Luke talked about, where if it's tagged, it will automatically come in to the project. But you also have the Explorer and then settings as well.
All right, on to our next section, enhanced GIS and cadastral workflows. Once again, this kind of is a section that is predominantly around how disconnected workflows, they really cause outdated data, and we're working to minimize the impact of that for users. So automating manual tasks, some disconnected processes are now connected, and some enhancements in access that make field users' life a lot more better.
Okay, so starting off, we're going to talk about the field data extension. So not going to go into too much detail here. We'll release another video or a webinar to dig into this specifically. But our field data extension, which used to have a map inbuilt, is now linking to the new field data viewer, which gives you a new interface into the data. So it's a lot richer, it reacts a lot faster, and it gives you a lot more flexibility on points and symbols. We've also got all the same data and reviewing ability of jobs as we did with the field data extension. As I said, we'll have a whole nother webinar where we can dig deeply into all the features and all the functionality in this new map viewer. If we jump back to Trimble Access, we're talking about cadastral, we're talking about capturing attributes. One of the things that's new in Trimble Access 2025.2 is auto attributes. So things like length, perimeter, coordinates, elevations used to be stored really just as attributes, not even attributes, as properties of a point. Now we're giving the ability to store those as feature-coded attributes, which makes it much easier to share that information in different feature systems, like maybe to Esri or even in TBC, it can be easy to access those attributes. Anyone, this is not just cadastral workflows, anyone really working outside can benefit from this. If you lose lock with your instrument, it can sometimes be a bit of a hassle to do a search. GPS search just got a big upgrade with geolock. So the new geolock feature uses GNSS to keep the total station aimed at the prism, even when you're out of line of sight. So if you walk behind a building or some trees, the total station can continually keep tracking your position. So as you walk back out, it will relock pretty much instantly. We've also added more functionality in for what happens when you lose lock. So you could set the instrument to automatically, you're an SX instrument, automatically open the video. So you can just tap your location or automatically open the joystick. So it hopefully gets you back to work faster after you've lost your lock. Within Trimble Access, the settings look something like this. You've got when lock is lost, what do we do? And you've got those target modes, geolock, and you can go back to your auto lock, which is like it was before, pre the GNSS editions.
So in TBC, another thing that we've been working on, mostly for our construction users, is meeting the Land XML ISO 15143-4 standard. This standard is new, and again, we're working with multiple agencies, multiple dealers on the construction side to meet these standards. We're not necessarily working on building them, but we're working closely with that group, and as things expand, we're going to be expanding with that. Some of the benefits that we see right away is the import and exporting benefits from SiteWorks. We've seen other improvements with earthworks and groundworks. So this doesn't necessarily just target SiteWorks, but it also targets a couple of other applications or a couple of other pieces of equipment, other applications, but also see improvements in Trimble Access. So for the cadastral and GIS portion of TBC, our land admin group has been really busy. This is just a small list of some of the features that they've worked on. The auto fields for attributes, that obviously, as we talked about, it's a huge advancement. And attribute synchronization, that's another key benefit where this can, eliminate some confusion, saves time over throughout the project. Again, you're going to have to see the release notes to get the full impact of what they've done there, along with the CAD and crafting group. They've also been busy, and they've enhanced TBC quite a bit. And a lot of the enhancements that they've come out with they're small enhancements, but they're huge impact. So in this case, as you can see on the top right, the cursor now has you have the ability to create a cross that's editable. You can create that cross as large as you want, or you can put it back to just the regular box that we've always had. You can find in settings. The other thing you can find in settings is the scale bar at the bottom left. That has changed where you can add your custom colors, size as well. And another feature is the ability to customize or quickly change the font scale. And this is all within mostly into the basic part of TBC. But again, there's a lot of little features that they made there. Another enhancement that I think it's small but big is where we've changed the background for the plant, the view, where now it's like you can set it to a white background, so you can see your sheet view much cleaner, much I guess easier to picture as you're going through all your drawings. So here, there's a couple things that stand out. Now you're only seeing one sheet rather than seeing all the sheet views that you pulled up. Definitely makes it simpler. And then also the ability to page through all those prints on the bottom right. You can also see the sheet size of the paper that you're working with. So again, some small things, but big things.
All right. Our next section is going to be covering reality capture processing automation. Right now, I would still say some of the biggest detractors against any reality capture, whether it's photogrammetry or terrestrial laser scanning or mobile scanning data, is manual data processing workflows, and basically trying to get that data to another system efficiently. And so TBC has added in some automated enhancements that's going to save time and effort, and we're going to have a real interesting tidbit from Access that's going to save us some time in the field as well.
So straight into that then. We have a new surface scan frame method. So rather than tapping around an object to capture a point polygons to find the point cloud, now you can simply tap the surface and we're going to draw a polygon around that automatically. So you can import we call it an inflations factor there, which gives you a bit of a buffer around the object. But if you're going to a site and you've got the model of it, it's really easy to scan that and do a surface inspection now. You just tap the option, tap the object, run the scan, and then do your inspection. So a lot of time here being saved in the field. You can see there the difference between there's the model view, there's the camera view with the polygon overlay.
Photogrammetry. I know this feature came out for 25.10, but what we've done to the auto GCP detection is we've improved the background. So there you'll see an improvement in the speed of going through and picking the targets, and then you also see improvement in the accuracy. So I know this is a huge advancement for 25.10. But we hope that with this improvement, it'll help our users out, because I don't want to say TBC was slow in the processing or in the picking process, but it wasn't fast. Here we've increased or we've improved the speed some, and I think from what I've heard from data users, there's definitely an improvement in that process. For target-based registration, I think this has been requested for probably the last 10 years, maybe. But we finally implemented this. I may have promised like for the last year that we would have this in there. Well, I'm finally happy to say that it is now in TBC. So you'll be able to brag about that to all your users. So with this, we have target extraction. So we can, target-based registration and target extraction. So now you can extract both round targets and also flat checkerboard targets. And actually, if your users or if you're familiar with RealWorks processes for just registration, you'll see a lot of similarities. We've integrated the ability to communicate with agile assets. So for all of your ALM or like asset lifecycle management data, this now can be shared for S2 agile assets. A lot of the payment analysis work that we've been working on for quite a while is easily shared. We've also improved the point classification process. You can see here in the bottom left, it shows the improvement in speed and also the accuracy. So percentage-wise, you're going to see a big change when it comes to signs, not just the sign face itself, but you'll see an improvement in the sign polls as well. And then the noise, it's still something that needs a little bit of improvement, but you'll see also a nice enhancement with that.
And on to our last section, with mines, it's always a pressure on, staying on budget, staying on time, keeping efficient, and don't make mistakes because they cost money. So with these enhancements that came through Trimble Access to a lot of some of the stakeout workflows, and then some reporting and analysis that's done through TBC enhanced reporting. Decisions like work in the field is done quicker and ultimately safer because there's less time spent at the mine face. And through TBC, these reports get out quicker, easier, shared easier through connected means, and decisions are made quicker.
Yeah. So on that note of getting in and out as fast as possible, getting your work done, we've introduced a new routine in mines called the auto stake wall laser. So this was a common workflow that we found with lots of our mining customers who needed to install wall lasers in the underground mine. So what this feature does is it calculates the optimal laser position, which the drill crew can then use as a reference to mark that working face. It allows for the longest possible laser setup, meaning there's less wall laser installs. So what this looks like in Trimble Access is you first select that mine center line and the wall design, and then you turn and aim at the mount point. The grade of the laser will then be calculated using the height above that center line, and the instrument will automatically turn to the working face and start. Essentially, you can allow it to snap to the best position, and it will automatically iterate and set out that best position for you. So here in the image, you can see us setting up the wall laser routine, and this is the optimal position we have here. I think I explained that before. In our center line and grade lines routines, instead of just offsetting a line now, we actually stake an entire plane. So this makes it a lot easier to set this stuff out. We can go from the floor to the wall to the ceiling. It's one consistent plane we're setting out rather than an individual line. And that's both in center lines, where it's a vertical plane, and grade lines where we're creating a horizontal plane.
And in TBC, as Devin mentioned, we worked on the reports. So the tonnage reporting, here you can now add the specific gravity, of the stockpile that you're reporting on. And by putting in the specific gravity, you can get a more precise volumes of that stockpile. And then also the conformance report. So with the conformance report, what we've done is we've colorized that surface that's created. And now you can export that surface as a TRB to connect. So you can share that with, or our customers can share that with the mine owners or the mining company that's tracking a lot of this, or T4D, and then also Trimble Access. So again, it's just surface. It's exporting out to whatever application you want as a TRB, and yeah, it's just a simplified way of visualizing it.
I guess the release schedule for both softwares as of November 6th, which is tomorrow for us on this recording. TBC version 2025.2 will be available for download and install. And for Trimble Access, it'll be a little bit later in November, probably the week of the 24th. And then that will be publicly available as well. Also, tying on to the release, we've mentioned it a few times throughout the presentation that there will be follow-on information, whether it's going to be TBC power hours, whether there's going to be videos on YouTube for access. There'll be social media posts. There'll be marketing assets available. So just keep an eye out for that, and you'll be notified when everything is up and running.
Thank you all, and yeah, keep your eyes out for the release notes and the help files for all the new features.
Thanks.
Thanks, guys.